Shana Tova. It's so wonderful to be able to sing with all of you. In the ancient practice of alchemy, the philosopher's stone was thought to be a miraculous element that would enable people to turn common metals into gold and silver, and even create a panacea, a special medication they believed would cure all disease. One 17th century author wrote that the philosopher's stone was given to Adam by God and then passed down to our matriarchs and patriarchs, giving them their long lives. Alchemists searched high and low for this magical stone with no success. While the philosopher's stone was never discovered, today's psychologists believe that the human brain may in fact be the closest thing that we have to this incredible rock, because through the work of our brains, our imaginations, and our abilities to bounce back, we turn lead into gold every single day. Indeed, our brains have given us powers that certainly would appear to be miraculous to the medieval alchemists. We definitely, as humans, dread the dark occurrences in our lives and in our world. Divorce, sickness, the death of loved ones, these are certainly things that we dread. Yet in the end, we tend to bounce back from these experiences with extraordinary flair. Sometimes, through ingenuity and through learning, we even make our lives better than they were before adversity struck. While we might assert, my life would be over if ... fill in the blank, that's actually seldom the case. Over and over again, we have proven that if we have the will and the stamina and we have the resilience, we can indeed move forward, and we do indeed want to live. We use that philosopher's stone that's between our ears to turn life's metals into gold. So I start with this idea on this Rosh Hashanah because I'm sure that we are all wishing right now that we had a whole healthy dose of that panacea and probably a pocket full of philosopher's stone as well. We had hoped that the trajectory of this virus would have been different and that our success in moving forward would have been linear. Yet in these past months, in some ways, we seem to have moved backwards. So here we are. Some of us are here at Rodef, and even though I can't see your full faces, I can tell you, seeing your eyes, being present with you, hearing your voices, it's beautiful. And some of us right now are in the sanctuaries in our homes, and knowing that you're there, knowing that you're listening, knowing that you're davening and singing along from home, that's incredibly meaningful as well. But here's the thing, we're here, but I imagine that I might be speaking for many of us. We're exhausted. We're worn out in ways that we may not have expected and that we probably don't even really understand. We're tired of navigating a world where any activity from a trip to the grocery store or the gym to a Shiva Minyan has become an antivirus exercise. COVID has wormed its way deeply into our emotional real estate, and it has become the cornerstone of our thoughts, our conversations, and our actions. Well, I have background music while I'm speaking. I don't know if that's ever happened before. It's from above. Within a month of the first case of COVID-19, something was clarified for us, how deeply interconnected we human beings are. An invisible, inanimate virus was carried person by person, breath by breath, across the entire globe in the blink of an eye. In no time, we knew that the air that we breathe throughout this magnificent planet is one air, that each of us is part of a global ecosystem that we cannot escape. That while we may feel like autonomous, distinct human beings, there are many things we cannot control because of the choices that other human beings make that have a ripple effect on every single one of us. And just as this terrifying virus alerted us to how interconnected we truly are, just as this happened, we were told to do the very opposite thing of what we instinctively yearn to do when we are scared. So what is it that we most crave when we're frightened? Anybody want to guess? I can't quite hear you. I can just hear the mumbles, so that's good. At least you're... So the thing that I came to is a hug, right? And that might have been what you all said. We crave a hug. We crave closeness. We want to hug our parents. We want to hug our children. We want to hug our friends. And yet, in that moment, we became immediately aware that the people that we love the most, the people that we wanted to hug the most, that these very people that we wanted to bring close, that they could be vectors of disease, that our children could get us sick, and that we could, God forbid, get our beloved parents sick. When loved ones in the same house got COVID, we had to quarantine them alone in a separate room, the very opposite of what our natural instincts tell us to do when we want to care for the sick. When our children craved a sleepover with a friend, we had to say no, the right decision for their physical health, but often a painful reality for their emotional well-being. When our parents across the country craved the comfort of our touch, we stayed home. For a year and a half, we have put immense and necessary energy into safeguarding the health of our bodies, largely at the expense of the health of our souls. This dissonance between the caring impulses that we have and this virus-driven decisions that we had to make, these will reverberate within us for a long, long time, probably, I'm imagining, for the rest of our lives. And yet, on this Rosh Hashanah, we Jews know that we have another philosopher's stone to turn around this experience, this fatigue, and to turn it into something that we crave. And that is what I would like to call the rhythm of the ritual calendar. Right now, the calendar brings us something we desperately need: renewal. Rosh Hashanah, a calendared wake-up call, the shofar blast that wake-up call for us, an invitation to open the door of our aching souls, to listen deeply to what we emotionally crave in this very moment. The holiday invites us to transform frightened interconnectivity that the virus awakened within each and every one of us, to transform that into a Jewish form of spiritual and emotional connection, one that I dare say is equally, if not more, contagious. So what is this key, this process for our rebirth? Of course, we need clear examination. We need confession. We need true and sometimes painful repentance. But the key, my friends, the key this year for us on these high holidays of 5782, the key is love. Love is the panacea that we need to heal each and every one of us. Traditionally, on Rosh Hashanah, we say, Hayom Harat Olam. This is the day on which the world was conceived. But it really isn't the anniversary of the conception of the world. It's actually the anniversary of the sixth day of creation, the creation of humanity, the creation of love. God created humanity because God needed somebody to love. The plants and the animals that existed in the garden, they simply were not enough. And as this mythic story goes, as it tells us, the animals, they actually weren't enough for Adam either. Adam needed another human being to love, and so God created Eve. Torah says that we humans were created B'Tselem Elohim, in God's image. Our high holiday liturgy tells us what this means, and it tells us multiple times. We will repeat this in Musaf again and again and again. We pronounce the 13 attributes of God over and over again, specifically on Yom Kippur. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chanun, Erech Apayim v'Rav Chesed ve'emet. God is a God of truth, a God of compassion, a God of grace, and a God of love. So much love, slow to anger, and generous with love. We say these words as an inspiration for our own souls. We, each and every one of us sitting in this room, and each and every one of us at home, we were created in God's image, and we can be all of these things. And like God, we can love. Love, more than anything else, is the essence of our Torah. Abraham Joshua Heschel, Rabbi Heschel, writes in God of Search of Man, above all, the Torah asks for love. All observance, being here today is training in the art of love. To forget that love is the purpose of all mitzvot is to vitiate, to morally corrupt their meaning. In English, we basically have one word for love, and we tend to treat it like it's a magical feeling that comes about in certain situations or in certain very, very special relationships. But in Hebrew, as in Greek, there are many, many words for love. We have ahava, we have achva, we have rachamim, we have chedva, we have hanan, we have chesed. These aren't just words that describe feelings. They describe actions. They remind us to do love, not to sit around and wait for it. We love, we become love, we create love, we nurture love. Love is a noun, love is a verb, love is an adjective, all in one. Love demands that we integrate our values and emotions into each and every one of our deeds. And Torah repeatedly tells us to go forth and to practice that love. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha. Say it with me. B'chol levavcha, b'chol nafshecha, b'chol me'odecha. Love God with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your might. We say these words each and every day, morning and night. V'ahavta l'reichecha kamocha. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. We sang these words this morning as we began our service. The people near and dear to you, we should love them, and we should start that with loving ourselves. V'ahavta et hager. Love the stranger, the foreigner that is in your midst. Those who are not like you, love them too. 3 very clear declarations of love. Rabbi Sheila Weinberg teaches how these 3 mitzvot are serious, interconnected spiritual disciplines. We learn how to love the people we know, our neighbors, by learning how to love ourselves. We learn how to love the stranger by loving the people we know. And finally, we learn how to love God by loving the stranger. But you might say to me, and I would understand this, Rabbi, you make it all sound so easy, but it can be really hard. How do you really love God when we can't see God and we can't hear God? And how do I love a God that I'm not even sure I believe in? How can I actually love my neighbors all the time, even when they frustrate me, and they're frustrating me a lot these days? And how am I expected to love people I don't even know? I mean, I don't know them. And maybe the hardest of all, how do you really expect me to love my deeply imperfect self? Remember Hillel? When he was asked to summarize all of Judaism while standing on one foot, what did he say? He said, love your neighbor as you love yourself. All the rest is just commentary. All of this love is difficult to practice. but it is vitally important, and it is vitally important for us today. In a time with so much pain, in a time with frustration and loss and fear, we must love. We must love with ferocious strength, with mighty discipline, with purpose. We must be brave enough to create love where we do not feel it, to pronounce love by saying, I love you, without hesitation and without embarrassment, and to receive love, and to know that each and every one of us deserves it. So let's start with ourselves. Today, during our Rosh Hashanah prayers, love yourself. Practice that self-care. Put on your own oxygen mask first. The antidote to the virus is not only loving others, but also being brave enough to truly be gentle and kind and loving with ourselves. And when we can accept our own shortcomings and limits, and when we can do that with love, then we will have the capacity to reach out to our neighbors, to the wider communities, and to feel the ripple effects of this love. We can check in with friends and see how they are doing, and listen with love. We can think about those who might be lonely, and when we reach out to them, connect with love. We can give generously to organizations that bring about healing and create love. When somebody says something or does something that frustrates us, it challenges our perceptions. Rather than losing our cool and responding with agitation, as I know so many of us are experiencing right now, we can instead let empathy lead us and shape us and respond with love. We can step up and lead services and read Torah, as so many have done today, and serve our community with love. When somebody has a loss or gives birth, we can sign up for our Chesed meal train. We can contact Meredith, we can contact Judy, we can contact Fran and get on their list and feed people with love. We can join our Road Faith Tzedek task force. Alana and Lori and Eva, I can see them all right here. Every day they are working tirelessly to act with love. Knowing that many of us are struggling right now, we can elevate our patience and our compassion and speak and use our voices with love. When we do this, when we consciously bring love into our conversations, our intentions, and our actions, we, each of us as individuals and as a community, we will build on love. Psalm 89 teaches, Olam Chesed Yibaneh. We will build this world on love, not that world, not a world of tomorrow, the world of today. As we say, we only have one planet. We must build it the way we want it to be. And that's what I'm asking for each of us today, to be brave and to love. This theme will be carried through our high holiday services this year, as we embrace this new year of 5782, which we need more than ever. Knowing that there is so much that we don't have control of in this world, we also know and hold today that there is one thing that we do have control of, and that is how much love we manifest. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. We have created a tiny credit card size multi-tool. It's inscribed with this verse, Olam Chesed Yibaneh, build on love. And it will be here for you to take home when you leave this sanctuary on Yom Kippur. Keep it in your wallet or attach it to your keychain. Use it to build something special and allow the message to be an inspiration for you. The vaccine will help ward off this virus when it hits our body. But it's love, it's really love that will protect, heal, and renew our souls. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. We together are the builders. Shana Tova. Olam Chesed Last year, I cried on these high holidays when I spoke because nobody was here, and you were all home, and I was looking into a computer at Clay and Daphna and Moshe and David's lovely faces, but I was also looking into like one of those round lights that's supposed to make you look good. I don't know if it worked, but it was there, and I cried because, what was that? And this year we're moving back into being together, and it's just so beautiful to be able to see your eyes and to maybe be able to cry with you in the same room a little bit. And again, to know that the folks at home are part of our community as well, deeply part, and that in time we'll all be back in this room together, and this room will be full with us sitting side by side, holding each other's hands, spreading the physical love that we have and connecting.